Welcome to Hinata. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we've got 2 lands and a pure recruiter on a token source, but yeah, we just don't really have any card advantage, so I'm not super wild about this one. And we are on the draw, but yeah, I think I'm fine with shipping this one back. So let's go and send this one back. Oh goodness, I guess we keep. I mean, because that's the lands that we need. I don't really want to go past that. Let's go and put Cascade Bluffs on the bottom. Click OK, then hopefully we draw into some sort of card advantage. Yeah, just getting stuck on 2 lands doesn't sound that fun, and then you mulligan into a bunch of lands. And if we get some sort of same opening hand with that third mulligan, or that second mulligan, yeah, not super wild about that. So hopefully we can make this work. So, all right, so we're running into some enabler sources. Let's go and lead off with a Hollowed Fountain. Not going to pay 2 on that one, and then anything else. Let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We are playing Hinata, Dawn Crowned, Flying and Trample. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. Then spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast for each target. Playing its Prosper, Tome-Bound, Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Then for Pack Boon, whenever you play a card from exile, create a treasure token. And they're off to a pretty quick start. We've got Double Land, Sensei's Top, Arcane Signet, and Mox Opal. So let's have some fun. Let's go lead off with Marsh Flats, and then kick it over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate it. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play Commander Online, they've got you covered on Magic Online. Let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com/Jolt for 10% off of your order. And last but not least, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home, and we just saw Entomb with Cruelty into the Graveyard, it is officially free time. Let's have some fun. All right, so our opponent's going to go for top at the end of the turn. So they did end up going Entomb, put a card into your graveyard, and they went for Cruelty. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent sacrifices a creature, planeswalker, discards a card, and loses 3 life. You draw a card and gain 3 life. So see if they have some sort of reanimator spell. They are going for Grim Tutor. They do not have access to black mana, at least just yet, but they also have not made the land drop. So we will see if they've got some sort of reanimator to bring Cruelty back onto the battlefield. And Canyon Slow. All right, so that at least enters the battlefield tapped. And we run into Plains. So let's go and lead off with Scalding Tarn, and then anything else, pass it to our opponent. So we'll go for the double Marsh Flat Scalding Tarn crack for next turn. But yeah, as far as what we've got going on, let's see what our opponent has in store for us. I know it's going to be very interesting when they get off to a quick start like that. Now, as far as Hinata goes, our opening hand's not very strong of what we're trying to do with this deck, but you at least do see what we're trying to do is kind of just run some Jeskai Spellslinger, and we've got stuff like Murmuring Mystic, Talrand, and Dawson and Perfection. And these are typically the stuff you just want to have one of in the late of the game, but we've got them all in our hand right now. But hey, that happens. But typically you're looking to try to do something along the lines of Young Pyromancer, Monastery Mentor, something little and low. Get it on the battlefield, get a lot of your card advantage spells, stuff like Ponder, Brainstorm, Preordain. Really start to generate these tokens, and then as we generate those tokens, we finally get our commander down. That allows us to kind of use some of our payoff spells with the X and the converted mana cost. We are running, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're running 11 different, yeah, we'll just go and crack Marsh Flats in response to that. Let's grab some dual sources. So we do need to grab some red. So we'll grab Sacred Foundry, have that come into play tap, not going to pay 2. Let's go and crack Scalding Tarn. And we'll grab blue-red off of that, and let's get this popped out. We'll grab Steam Vents, have that come into play tapped. There we go. So we've got Prosper rocking and rolling. They have no mana right now. We do have access to some cheap removal, and here we do have Path to Exile Swords to Plowshares. So hopefully we can run into something along those lines. Let's drop in Mountain. Actually, we'll drop in Glacial Fortress. And so we're looking at... We've got Prosper active. They've got 1 card in the hand. I guess we can go for Hinata. I think at this point we'd rather kind of get some some board state develop if we're going to end up going for Hinata. So let's get Talrand down. I think that's the better option right now because we can try to go for Hinata next turn. So yeah, let's do that. So let's get Talrand down. One of the main things is we need to get some sort of clock on our opponent, especially with Prosper out there being able to exile stuff. And so being able to get some 2/2 flyers kind of work out. So we'll get down Talrand, and because a lot of the X spells, instead of going for Hinata that turn and going for Talrand, a lot of our payoff spells involve just having some amount of creatures on the battlefield. Being able to swing in. I think the one that I really like, I think it's Open into Wonder. I'm gonna look that up right now. But open into Wonder. So X target creatures can't be blocked this turn, and then until end of turn, those creatures gain whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So you can see where we can get down something like Talrand, finally get down Hinata, and then for 2 blue mana, we can make all of our creatures unblockable, and then whenever they deal damage, they get a card draw. So that's the kind of payoff stuff that we're looking for, and so that's why we're not going for a commander just yet, because we need to get some tokens on the battlefield. But yeah, that's the one that I've enjoyed so far. We are running Mass Manipulation in here, which if you've never, Mass Manipulation is 4 blue and then double X in the mana cost. So it still is pretty expensive, but having that reduced double X cost in the mana cost and being able to gain control of your opponent's stuff, hey, that's some fun stuff. I like that. All right, so we got Prosper swinging in. They're going to be swinging in 4, and in fact, what is the, just for 1/4, so it's going to drop us down to 37. But yeah, with Mass Manipulation, that's kind of one of those spells, in a multiplayer game, it's good, you have a lot of targets, but in 1v1, it can be very brutal. All right, so our opponent's going to go Fatal Push on Talrand, but yeah, you get down Mass Manipulation, and you just steal a lot of stuff, and it's, boy, that's a good feeling right there. All right, so we got Prosper. That's going to be an not end zone, but an exile end of turn trigger. And we run into another land. So let's go and drop in Tundra. Yeah, and let's keep it going. Let's see if they got spot removal. At the end of the day, we've still got Murmuring Mystic to kind of back it up. And so we'll get down Dawson of Perfection. And nothing else to showcase, so we will simply pass the turn over to our opponent. And if you've never built like a Spellslinger deck, the foundation of a Spellslinger deck, or at least my viewpoint, and when I'm looking to build it, is using the cheap stuff like Talrand, Dawson, Young Pyromancer. But one of my favorite things about Dawson, if you don't know, is that whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you get a 1/1 blue human wizard creature token. Then if you control 3 or more wizards, you get it to flip, and they turn into little delvers, where they're 3/2s or whatever, and they have flying. And man, that's some good magic. It doesn't happen all the time that you get Dawson of Perfection flipped. And to be honest, when you're getting Dawson flipped, you're probably in a position to where you can win the game, or at least getting close to. But having an entire swarm of Delvers in Commander, that's some good magic. So, but yeah, outside of Mass Manipulation, we also have some kind of control style effects on the board. We've got Heliod's Intervention, which is just absolutely wonderful in a deck like this, because you can just target a ton of things and just blow up a ton of stuff. Like, especially if we run into, if we have our commander down and then we go for Heliod's Intervention, that's just free real estate on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 different artifacts that we can jam on that. So opponent's going to go for Wishclaw Talisman. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. An opponent gains control of Wishclaw Talisman. So we will see. All right, so we have Wishclaw put it into our hand. So we'll see. I mean, we could Wishclaw. Oh, goodness. All right, so we're going to see Cruelty come down. Enters the battlefield, discard a card, lose 3 life, draw a card, and gain 3. Okay, so we have to sacrifice a creature. That's going to be Dawson. We do have to discard a card. Let's go and get rid of Plains, because we have tons of white mana out there. Now, with Heliod's Intervention, that's going to allow us to hit the reset button, but even if we do end up doing that, that's going to be all of their artifacts. They are sitting at 5 mana, and they have Cruelty on the battlefield, so that's really not going to do much. I guess we could Wishclaw for a board wipe, and that'll kind of clear it out. That still gives them access to Talisman, though. Let's see. We'll see what we kind of assemble for next turn. So, all right, so see what we draw into. Draw into another Plains. All right. So let's go ahead and drop in Island. All right, so we go for Heliod. And that's going to get rid of all of their artifacts and cut them down on mana. We go for a board wipe, which we can definitely cast. That's going to get rid of Archon and then kind of hit the reset button on their commander. Yeah, I guess we just end up doing that. I think. And sorry about, I had my phone on and there we go. All right, so let's go for Talisman. Yeah, I think we got to go Talisman. So let's go Talisman. That does give them Talisman back. Set your library for a card, put it into your hand, and let's get this popped out. So we go Heliod. Yeah, we just have no answer for their board state, so we do need to kind of end up going for a board wipe. So let's get this popped out. Let's grab Wrath of God. There we go. Man, for some reason, I could not see Wrath of God, and I got really worried that I didn't put it in here. But anyway, so we've got Wrath of God. So we're going to go Wrath of God. We do need to hit the reset button on this. They still have a Talisman that they can end up going for, but at this point, we just need to get rid of Cruelty if we're going to have any sort of late game effect on this. So anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Yeah, this is not a heavy Hinata gameplay, unfortunately. We're just making land drops, so we'll see what we can rip into. But yeah, you know, outside of the, oh yeah, as far as the enablers in a deck like this, we've seen Talrand, Dawson, Perfection, Murmuring Mystic. We do have Kaikar in here. One of the other things that if you are building a spell slinger deck is you want to make sure, outside of generating a token, you just want to have some sort of card advantage too. We have Whirlwind of Thought, I think that's what it is. And with Whirlwind of Thought, that's the Jeskai. Let's go and check that out real quick. Yeah, Whirlwind of Thought, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. So that's something that we do have in here because we have that and we have Archmage, which whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that's going to give you some card advantage. And that just really helps you just build this like snowball effect of a board state, which is always really nice. So, all right, so we've dodged the Reanimator from our opponent. Let's see what else they have that's showcased for it. That's going to be Wishclaw Talisman. And with that, I think that's going to be it. That's simply just going to be our artifact now. And so, as far as next turn goes, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's going to be 7. Yeah, that's going to be 7 total mana. So, we'll see what we can do. I mean, if we run into some fast mana, maybe we can end up going for Murmuring Mystic and Hinata. So, but let's see what it is. Our opponent's tapping out. That's going to be Bolus's Citadel. All right. So we got some stuff. Let's see what our opponent can assemble. And they're going to have Phyrexian Revoker, so I'm curious to see what they can name on this one, because we don't have anything. I mean, I guess you could just name Wishclaw Talisman, but I'm curious to see what the... Jason Mind Sculptor, all right, so we do... Actually, we don't have Jason here, so that's going to be a whiff on that one. Opponent's going to go for Duress, so it's going to be non-creature, non-land. We've got Devil Lands and Murmuring Mystic off of that, and... let's see if we can't hit that Heliod off the top. Let's go, Magic. Telling Time. Okay. Well, that might end up being that. So let's go and make the land drop for the turn. Let's drop in Plane. So we end up going Murmuring Mystic. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go Talisman. I mean, Telling Time. Yeah, I think we need to go Telling Time on this one. We could try to set up Murmuring Mystic, but at this point, we want to... we need to be kind of aggressive on this one. Launch the Fleet. Put a card into our hand. I get Esper Sentinel, maybe. This is probably not what you really want to see. So we'll put, I guess, Esper Sentinel in our hand. We'll put Lightning Grease on top and launch the feet on the bottom. Let's drop in Murmuring Mystic. And then that still gives us just enough mana for Esper Sentinel. And our opponent does know exactly what our hand is, and that is going to be a mountain. So let's get down Esper Sentinel. And then anything else. Pass the turn over to our opponent. So there we go. But yeah, and actually, speaking of Planeswalkers, typically whenever I play Jeskai, I usually get a pretty good mix of Planeswalkers in here. I don't think we have any Planeswalkers in here. Mainly, we're just putting a lot of the shift of the weight of the deck into just kind of just card advantage. A lot of little cantrips, like the converted, it tops out. You know, we have stuff like Blasphemous Act, but I think we've only got... We have 2 5-drops and 1 6-drop, and then we have a bunch of X spells, which basically with Hinata, those end up being, 1 to 3 converted mana cost spells by the time we have some sort of board state. And so, definitely wanted to keep the converted mana cost of this deck pretty low, just because even like in times like this, even though we're not really ripping into a bunch of stuff right now, whenever we get down Murmuring Mystic and we untap with a bunch of mana, maybe we can chain together Telling Time into a Brainstorm, into a Ponder, whatever that may be. You can really have a lot of really good turns where that's going to be Dismember on Murmuring Mystic. Oh, they got it. That's going to be -5, -5. All right, that's going to get rid of the bird token. And then it's going to be Aether Flux Reservoir, Sign in Blood. Target player draws 2 cards. We'll see if they can go off this turn. They're sitting at a 4 spells cast on Aether Flux Reservoir. So we'll see what can happen. But at the very least, And that's going to be a braid. That's going to be a braid on Esper Sentinel. Prosper is just going to town right now on us. All right, so it's going to be Night Swifter, draw 2 cards, lose 2 live. And we'll see what can happen. But yeah, at the very least, even though we're not here for a good Hinata showing, at least we can, see pretty good Prosper showing. But at least we can talk about some new Commander stuff. The what is it? The Commander Legends Baldur's Gate, I think. Yes, Commander Legends Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate, or Baldur's. Pretty sure that's how you say it. They released Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes, the Planeswalkers, and I love that commander. It is a very generic commander in that when you're building it, it's pretty much, I mean, you can build it to where you can take advantage, well, let's just go and check it out real quick. We'll talk about it. So, while they're doing stuff. So whenever Minsk and Boo enters the battlefield, that is the name of the card, it's a single Planeswalker, which can be your commander, enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may create Boo, a legendary 1/1 red hamster creature token with trample and haste. And then for the +1, it has loyalty of 3. So +1, put 3+1 counters up to 1 target creature with trample or haste. And then for a -2, sack a creature. When you do, it deals X damage to any target, where X is that creature's power. If the sacrificed creature was a hamster, draw X cards. So in itself, the thing that I like about it is, our opponent went for the Aetherflux Reservoir. There they go. They're going to get it on that one. I was looking at my second monitor. So good game to our opponent. They got it. Got the Aetherflux Reservoir win on that one. Not a huge showing from Hinata, but unfortunately we just ran into a bunch of lands. But at least you got to kind of see what we were trying to go for with Talram and Esper Sentinel. But if you're a Prosper fan, check that out. That was some good magic right there. We got to see a really quick reanimator target from our opponent. We got to see Bolas' Citadel. We got to see them chain together some pretty good Aetherflux Reservoir. So good game to our opponent. That was a really good showcase. But yeah, with Minsk and Boo, the thing that I like about it is it's just pretty much build any deck you want with it, because it's just a value engine where you're trying to get down the hamster, put +1 counters on it, get some card advantage. That's some good magic right there. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.